So very warm welcome back everybody to the Purple Sector Formula 1 League for the new season here on F125, Season 14 here for the Purple Sector F1 League here at Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. And I'm very excited here for tonight. We've got a packed out grid of 17 cars for this one. A couple of absentees unfortunately, but well, I think we're due, another driver jumping into the session before we get to the end of the session as well. I did see there was a driver who I was commentating actually last night on at the Red Arrows F1 League who had signed up as a reserve for this race, so I'm not sure if we're expecting to see him on the track. If not, then it will be just the 17 cars out on the track, but nonetheless it's a good turnout here for tonight. And let's quickly go through the teams for this season, seeing as it is a new season and all the drivers will be in new teams. So we've got the reigning champion Clen has ended up in the Aston Martin for this season. Won his first championship in the Red Bull, his second championship was in the Williams, now looking to make it 3 in a row here in the Aston. His teammate for this season looks like it will be White Shadow Hull. So White Shadow will be looking to try and build on the last couple of seasons here as he goes into 7th place on that last lap that he's just done there. Oh, he pulls into the wall there. Last season's run-up in the championship, Justify, is in the Kicks Sauber this season. Looks like his teammate, whoever it might be, isn't here this evening. So Justify currently running solo here for the Sauber team. You've got Scott in the Williams, T still in the McLaren, has been in the McLaren now for a couple of seasons I think. I'm very used to seeing T in Papaya. Scott in the Williams for this season. We've got a new driver, Dare Pixel, who is in the Alpine, or is Shinigami, the other new driver here this season. Goes P1, also in the Alpine as well is Shinigami. So these two have come in together as teammates as Clen there goes to top of the leaderboard there on a 1:16.5, absolutely extending the margin there at the top of the leaderboard by quite some way. Got Matty still in the Mercedes, has now got Drauga teaming up with him in the other one. We've got the Ferrari of Rexy Boy, G.C. joining Rexy Boy in the Ferrari team for this season. Street Boy not out there by the looks of it. I don't know if Street Boy is continuing racing with Purple Sector for this season, but he definitely isn't out there. So G.C. switches the Red Bull team for the Ferrari team, and we've got John and C-Mac now in the Red Bull. C-Mac jumped in late on last season for his debut at Brazil in the Alpine, but this season will be in the Red Bull. Quickly just checking to see what I've missed so far. We got S14 still in the RB car. Obviously had Justify alongside him last season. Justify has now moved to Sauber. We got Basin alongside C14 also in the V-Cub. Mango is Scott's teammate in the Williams. We've got Badman in the Haas this season. Obviously was running in the Sauber towards the end of last season, and Badman's teammate looks like they're not here tonight, so Badman currently also running solo here tonight. Got to be a contender for the championship as Badman won 4 out of his 5 races that he competed in last season towards the end of the season, so he's got to be in that fight with Clen and Justify, you would think, based on last season's form. Justify, we know, was a very comfortable winner last season at this track, so he's got course and distance around this Albert Park circuit, but obviously that was when everyone was very new to the game, and we know that Clen came on leaps and bounds throughout the course of last season, so I suppose what we know from last season's race isn't going to be strictly relevant to this season, but for sure it should be interesting to see how the times compare to last season. But at the moment it's Clen from Shinigami, from T, from Scott, with Justify completing the top 5. Is there anyone I haven't mentioned here in this qualifying session? I don't think so. Mango's in the Williams alongside Scott, I mentioned that already. Basin obviously alongside C4, and I think I mentioned everyone. Yeah, everyone's had a mention here in this qualifying session as to what car they're driving for this season, as we see Scott's about to start a flying lap here with just 10 minutes left to go. Scott looking to try and get a spot on the track where he can get a bit of a slipstream here from his teammate Mango, who's just up ahead of him, and it looks like the V-Carb there just behind these guys of Basin, I think, is going to also be looking to try and get a bit of a tow off of these guys. So let's see here what Mango's up to. So we just had another driver jump into the session, but it's not really apparent. Oh, it's Street Boy. So Street Boy switched up the Ferrari team for the Haas this season, which is interesting to see. So Street Boy has been a long-time teammate of Rexy Boy. Those two have been in the Ferrari, I think, for a few seasons now, but they have switched it up here for season 14. As we see Mango here coming through towards the final sector, and he's got his teammate right behind him here. And I'll tell you what, Scott is on an absolute flyer of a lap here, so I'm sure that if they got some sense here, these boys will be doing a little swapsy as he went to the final sector there, but he got massively held up there, did Scott, as his teammate wasn't willing to back out of his lap, and Scott's lap's going to be absolutely tarnished after that, and he's going to be into the pits, I'm sure, at the end of this lap to go for another run. No, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is, yep. So Scott's going to be coming in. I'm sure some stern words there in the Williams debrief after this session. But situation is, he stood in the top 4. Glenn, Shinigami, T and Scott are the top 4 at this moment in time. We're going to be seeing a lot of the drivers who've done their first runs out for their second runs. Shinigami is out there about to start a lap. We've also got Glenn, who will be starting a lap very, very shortly. Dare Pixel has gone into second place ahead of Shinigami. But I think Dare Pixel is... has he just done a lap? I'm not sure. I thought Shinigami was in second place a second ago. Maybe I just imagined it. It could just be my brain. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. He did just do a lap. He did just go in second place. So Shinigami is on a lap. Dare Pixel's on an in lap. So let's see what Shinigami can... Oh, he's also on an in lap. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we've got C-Mac here coming through the first sector, but definitely on an in lap because it's not a 40-second first sector, I can absolutely guarantee you that. Got a few drivers in the pits. T, Scott and Justify all sat in the pits, so is Bass and John. G.C. White Shadow, as we see Badman there moving into second place, just under 2/10 off for the fastest time being set by Glenn at this moment in time, but Glenn is obviously on a lap at the moment, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him improve his current provisional pole time. And as we said before, this man here is looking to try and make it 3 championships in a row this season at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. I don't know if he'd be the first to do it. I'm not too au fait with the Purple Sector history books. This was my strength at the Motive Racing Leagues, but because I haven't been at Purple Sector from the beginning, and because I haven't obviously commentating on every season as well, honestly I don't know how many multiple champions there are. I would have thought that Taser Muslim probably would have won it a few times, but yeah, I'm really not sure. As Glenn coming into the pits here at the end of this lap, so he's going to be on his way into the box now as he stops here into his garage. So Glenn not going to be improving on his current provisional pole time. He'd lost time to the middle sector, a very fraction. He's still up though as he came through the middle sector, but I think he'd lost a bit too much time in the first part of that final sector, which has obviously compromised his run. Shinigami has gone for another lap here, despite obviously being on worn tyres, and I would have probably guessed light fuel. As we see, a bit of a correction there as he came into the final few corners of the lap. Now, what is Shinigami able to do here? A debutant here tonight alongside Dare Pixel, as we see Shinigami now bringing it into the pits. So, never mind. Never mind. We've got Rexy Boy coming into the final few corners, and I would have thought probably bringing it into the pits. Yeah. Okay. We have actually got drivers on out laps though, so we are going to be seeing a few drivers coming around very shortly. Justify's about to start a flying lap. I think I saw the Haas Street Boy just going around the final corner as well to start a lap, so he's now going through turn 1 and turn 2, and we've got Justify coming over the line here to start a flying lap here, currently in 8th place as Justify, so a lot of work to do. Last season's runner-up in the championship had some absolutely star performances last season. The ones that really spring to mind were Baku, where he went from 11th to 1st place, Singapore he went from 6th to 1st, and Qatar dominated the entire race, was over 10 seconds clear when a late safety car unfortunately put him in a very difficult position, very similar to Hamilton at Abu Dhabi in 2021, and it seems to have backed out of this lap already here, as I think he did track limits just coming through that first part of the lap So he's most likely going to be boxing at the end of this lap for any fresh set of tyres, or is he just going to back off on this lap and try and save some fuel and save his tyres and maybe go for a second lap on this run? If I were him, I'd just bring it in, go for the optimal track conditions in the final stint. But who knows what Justify is going to do here as he comes into the final sector here of this lap here at the Albert Park circuit. We can see some double waved yellow flags here through sector 3. I'm not quite sure what for, and still not quite sure what for, but Justify coming into the pits anyway, and that is his run done. So we've got a few more drivers out there at the moment. We've got Dead Pixel, Shinigami T, as well as Drago, Matty Pitt. We've got Basin on a lap here as he's coming towards the end of the lap now, but he's about to come into the pits, so let's not worry about that. Gio out the final corner. What can he do here? Currently going to be a pretty good lap here by the looks of it. Goes P10. Just under a second off of the pace. Not where he'll want to be, I'm sure. And not where we're used to seeing him on this F125 game since last season. But I suppose it will do for now. We have got drivers out there on flying laps here. Dare Pixel only 5 thousandths of a second down, coming through the first sector. So he comes in through this flat out section, which leads down towards the fast chicane. As he's now just over a tenth up his Dare Pixel. Currently, he's half a second off of the fastest time, but a tenth and a half would put him closer to the front row. We can find a couple more tenths in this final sector. He might be a bit of a threat here to Badman and his second position on the grid. And if Dare Pixel messed up the last sector on his previous best, then this might be a bit encouraging for him. But here he comes to the final corner now. Got a bit of a twitch there as he got onto the power coming out of the penultimate corner. Here comes Dare Pixel then to the line. Is it going to be pole? Oh, it's close. It's very, very close. Only 400ths of a second off of the provisional pole time being set by Clem there. So Dare Pixel's right up there. He's got his teammate Shinigami out there right now. Basin has gone up into second place. He's 1,000th of a second off of Clem's provisional pole time. That's got to be great and agonising at the same time there for Basin. Obviously, he's going to be delighted with a second place or a front row start as it stands, but that is agonisingly close there to P1 from Basin. He's not going to get the lap in because he's going to have worn tyres and no fuel, but I'm sure he'll be pretty pleased with that. Maybe ruining what could have been. I mean, any little bit of time that he could have gained there would have put him on pole position, and that is the most agonising thing when you know that you can think of at least one little part of the lap that you could have done a bit better, and you think, oh, for goodness sake. But we've got Shinigami here coming through the final corner now. Can he improve and put it onto pole position here as he comes towards the line now? This is a pretty good lap here from Shinigami. It's not good enough for pole, but it's good enough for P5 still for Shinigami. Not quite enough to get himself in the front two rows. We've got Badman here coming through the first, coming towards the end of the first sector. Currently P4 here in this session. Justify is on an outlap, ready to start his final run of the session. He's right behind a Red Bull here, which could be sticky here. He needs to basically make the move on this Red Bull as soon as he can. So it's C-Mac who's right in front of him. He is taking a risk here. He's banking on being able to overtake this Red Bull at some point throughout this lap and making the slipstream work and it not holding him up. But Justify is playing a very risky game here with this Red Bull as we're coming through towards the end of the first sector. If he can stay close, then we'll see that right hand corner show a minus figure indicating that he's up, but if he's not, then we'll see the opposite. But he's currently 2 tenths up on his personal best through the first sector. This is a quick lap so far here from last season's runner-up in the championship. Now he needs to use the slipstream to its absolute fullest here as he comes through this flat out section down towards the chicane. Can he get a little bit closer here to C-Mac and outpace him over a lap here at Albert Park? He's 4 tenths up now, is Justify. So this is looking pretty good here for Justify. At this point in the lap, you'd think he'd probably be looking at about P5. You can find a couple more tenths, maybe P4 for Justify. Here he comes then, with just a few corners left to go. Where is Badman? Badman is going through the first sector, so we'll come to him in a second. But Justify here, all over the back of C-Mac, and he'll get a nice little toe towards the line as well to help him out for good measure. Here he comes then, Justify out of the final corner here. Oh, it might be in the 116s, just about here. It is, so P5 for Justify. That's a solid lap there from him. only 3/10 off of Clen, so solid enough there from Justify. As we see, Badman is currently out there coming through the middle sector. He's 2/10 out. Oh, he's just gone wide. He's gone wide. Surely he's done track limits there. As Clen has improved his lap time by 300ths of a second. It's not going to make a big difference there for Clen, but did Badman just invalidate his lap time? He was incredibly wide there coming out of the chicane. Maybe the game didn't invalidate it because he wouldn't have gained time, and maybe the game has kept him in it here. But Badman coming out the final corner. This is going to be P1. It's going to be very, very tight here with Clen. To the line he goes. He doesn't get it. He misses out there by about 2/10 of a second. So Clen will be starting this one on P1 ahead of Basin in second, with Dare Pixels third, and Badman will round out the front 2 rows there in 4th place. Justify P5 there, last season's runner-up in the championship, ahead of Shinigami, who will line up in 6th. C-Mac 7th with Rexy Boy, who's just done a lap there, good enough for P8, so he's moved up the order a little bit in the closing stages. Scott has already done his lap, so he's done for the session. T has just been headed there by G.C. who moves up into P10 with a last gasp effort there. White Shadow's done for the session. I think that's it. I think that's the lot. C-Mac is on a lap which is basically a category below where he needs to be. So he's coming into the pits now. And that, I think, is going to be that then. So it will be the 2-time defending champion, Clen, who will start this one from the front of the grid. But it was very close though. I'll tell you what, he's going to have a stiff competition. The top 10 is separated by half a second. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. So it's an incredibly tight pack here, and it's going to be all to play for once we get green flag here for the Pebble Sector Formula 1 League Season 14. Oh. And that is absolutely brilliant. So yeah, to those of you watching on the playlist, you can skip to the next one now, and the Grand Prix will be up next.